This is Jamie Drummond with Good Food Revolution. I'm here with Michael Fragos, Chief Winemaker at Chapel Hill in McLaren Vale in Australia. How are you today, sir?
Good, Jamie. Great to have you here.
Now, if you wouldn't mind telling me a little bit about the history of Chapel Hill.
Yeah, Chapel Hill was, the church that or the chapel that we're in at the moment was built in 1865, and it was the local church, but also the school for the little community around here, the village, which was called Seaview. So it was built in 1865 and then closed in 1965 and deconsecrated that same year. After that, the chapel fell into a little bit of disrepair until the sort of mid-late 70s when a local grape grower saw some potential on the site and decided to renovate or refurbish the chapel. And then just next to us here in the gallery, he built the winery in the late 70s, and that was the birth of Chapel Hill Winery, which is in, I think, 1979.
When did you come on board at Chapel Hill?
I started at Chapel Hill just a few weeks before the 2004 vintage. I'd worked in McLaren Vale, one of the other wineries, a winery called Tatachilla, for about 14 years before that. So I've spent and I've made wine for more than 20 years in the region. Plus my sort of connection with McLaren Vale goes back a bit further than that. My parents are grape growers in the region as well, so they've got a 40-acre vineyard about 10 minutes from here, so I spent a lot of time on the vineyard during my childhood, and also obviously as Dad used to make his barrel of homemade vino back in the day from Grenache, and so yeah, very much became part of a ritual every year where we'd make some Grenache and crush it with our feet and then basket press it, and there used to be a bottle of that or a carafe of that Grenache on our dinner table every night.
What makes the McLaren Vale unique when it comes to growing grapes and making wine? The
real uniqueness about McLaren Vale is associated with our proximity to the coast. For example, when McLaren Vale's on the coast, and here at Chapel Hill we're only 8 kilometres from the Gulf of St Vincent, so proximity to the coast, just the influence that coast has on McLaren Vale is immense. It gives us this really favourable maritime / Mediterranean climate to grow grapes in, but also we benefit from the real moderating effect of the sea breeze, and that's the sort of thing you notice on a really warm, sort of stifling hot day. At about 3 or 4 o'clock in the afternoon, you get this really beautiful, cleansing, gentle sea breeze that drifts in off the coast and just cools the vineyards down quite dramatically. And for me, that's really the main point of difference with McLaren Vale. It's just that really moderating effect of the sea breeze, and it just ensures that our grapes enjoy a lot cooler nighttime periods during the ripening period.
In a blind tasting, what is it you would identify in McLaren Vale wines that would make them jump out in a tasting?
Well, I think the first thing that probably most people comment about McLaren Vale is the generosity. I mean, they find that the wine's very, very generous and very, very rich and very giving, and I think that's one of the reasons that a lot of people have enjoyed McLaren Vale wines is they do find that they are very giving. The other thing that I find from McLaren Vale is, particularly with our red varieties, is that you do get this nice depth of flavour and this nice tannin structure, and I think that's probably again associated to that proximity to the coast, as we are able to get these wines that are ripe, they are rich. They are delicious, but they do have this nice firm tannin structure that's very distinctive and very commanding.
Please tell us a little about the wines that you make at Chapel Hill and the range of wines that you make here.
Yeah, we have quite a variety of different ranges within Chapel Hill. We have, in our McLaren Vale range, where we feel we are trying to focus on what we think are McLaren Vale strengths. We do Shiraz, the Cabernet Sauvignon, and then we also do small quantities of Grenache and Ved as well, two varieties that seem to have a sense of place and do really well in McLaren Vale. We also have a sub-range called the Vescova range, where we try to showcase some of the emerging varieties, or some of the more European varieties that are emerging in Australia, and we find with our Mediterranean / maritime climate, some of those southern European varieties seem to be thriving and we are able to produce varietal wines with great distinctive characters. So we are now looking at doing varieties such as Sangiovese, Tempranillo, are the two main red varieties, and Sauvignon with white. And also we've just released last year a range of single block wines as well, where we're focusing on our winery vineyard here, which is 15 hectares, where we've got some fantastic small parcels of individual blocks, which we are now keeping separate and then releasing wines from the individual blocks from this winery vineyard.
Where do you feel McLaren Vale's place is in the new Australia?
McLaren Vale is, and I think McLaren Vale's just started to evolve a little bit more as well, but McLaren Vale's place is red wine. We do some fantastic white wines as well, but really, McLaren Vale's heart and soul is in red wine. And I think where a lot of the wineries are focusing on at the moment is really trying to say, yes, we make these powerful, rich wines, but just let's tone them back a little bit, and let's introduce a little bit more complexity, a little bit more balance, and a little bit more texture. And I think that's where we're looking to find a place where we make these wines that are powerful but are graceful at the same time. And I suppose at Chapel Hill is our quest, where we're trying to harness this power, this richness, and this and just sort of package it up with a bit more complexity and a little bit more balance, just to make those wines just a little bit more interesting, and also just wines that can be enjoyed a little bit more with food.
Well, thank you very much for joining us this morning at Chapel Hill Winery. We look forward to catching up with you in the future.
Thanks, Joe. You're welcome.